Tom Homan, incoming border czar, joins us right now. Tom, thanks so much for joining us. I don't think anybody's on TV more these days, and I don't think it's important for anybody to be on TV as much as you, explaining what you plan on doing day one. Let's talk specifically about your promise to solve the problem that Alejandro Mayorkas and Biden-Harris created, which is these missing children. Tell us what you can do and will do.
Well, that's going to be the most difficult part of it. Like President Trump gave me 3 priorities, right? He secure the border, run a deportation operation, and find these children, 340,000 missing children. It's going to be a tough job because what this administration has done. Whistleblowers from Health and Human Services are saying that many of the sponsors weren't fingerprinted and weren't properly vetted. The way we find people, like you and I, we both have a digital footprint, right? We own homes, we drive cars, we have a driver's license, we pay bills, we pay utilities. So there's a footprint out there, digital footprint for you and I. Children don't have a footprint, which means we got to, count on the footprint for the adults or the unvetted sponsors. And if they're not properly vetted, if they're not properly fingerprinted, then we're starting out in a bad place. That's why we're going to bring in a lot of the civil organizations around the country, private organizations that have been working this child trafficking issue for the last several years. We're also going to count on the American people. We're going to establish 1-800 number and ask the American people to help us out. Parents have an innate ability to see something that's not right, whether it's a child in a workplace or a child with an adult that just doesn't seem right. We're going to ask American people to step up and take notice, see something, say something, contact us. And if one phone call out of 1,000 saves a child from sex trafficking or forced labor, then that's one life saved. So it's going to be a daunting task, but we're going to give it everything we got.
You know, Tom, I appreciate you talking about that because in the first term where we worked together, what did the left constantly criticize us for? That these children and many of their parents are trying to escape injustices in their home countries and come here. And you're telling me that the children who came here may have been brought here by coyotes, by folks who, God forbid, harmed them in some way, and then we don't even know what's happened to them when they're here. It's very difficult to justify that somehow they escaped tough circumstances, and now we as a nation, the richest, most powerful nation in the world, can't find these kids. Is there something going on beyond the incompetence and the epidemic of just looking the other way from the Biden-Harris-Mayorkas administration? Or do you think there was something more systemic happening here that these kids are just missing?
Well, look, we know that over 500,000 children were trafficked in this country under Joe Biden's and Alejandro Mayorkas' overwatch. And we know that many of these children are going to be in sex trafficking and labor trafficking. This is just not Tom Homan's opinion. I mean, done this for 3.5 decades. ICE has already found many of these children in factories, cleaning up entrails in a meatpacking plant in the midnight shift. We found some living with predators. So, I think this, and the biggest shock of them all is the secretary for HHS, Becerra. He's on stage bragging about how quick they take these children in custody and release them. They release them at record pace, he says, because one thing that this administration is concerned about, the only thing they were concerned about is the optics of this historic illegal immigration crisis. If there's no overcrowding, then there's nothing to see here. So that's why they released these children without proper vetting. They stopped the DNA testing. They stopped the proper vetting. Under the Trump administration, we had DNA testing. We vetted everybody in the household, not just a sponsor, but anybody that lived in the household to make sure there wasn't a gang member, a child predator living in that household. So this isn't incompetence. This isn't mismanagement. This is by design. This is about moving as many people in this country as possible because they see a future political benefit in all this. Do I think they meant to put children's harm way? I don't know that. I have my suspicions, but what they did is harming hundreds of thousands of children. And I tell you right now, some of these children we're never going to find. Some of these children are dead. Some of these children are living a life of hell every day, but we're going to do everything we can to rescue as many as we can and get them back to their families. We'll deal with the immigration consequences later. We got to get these kids back with their families, and we got to make sure they're protected.
It's unspeakable. So you've talked a lot about what you're going to do on day one and week one and month one. I'd like you to project forward a similar question that I asked Senator Haggerty from the Senate perspective. To Tom Homan, our border czar, what would qualify as success to you 100 days in, 1 year, 2 years in? What does that look like to you?
that the border is secure, that the crossings on the border are at a historic lows that were against Trump, and it won't take long. We already did it once. We just got to dust off those plans. We don't need Mexico to get in the Remain in Mexico program, but President Trump's a strong president. He'll get them to agree to it. We're going to shut down the CBP-1 app and the CHMV program that bring thousands of illegal aliens to our airports in the United States. In the CBP-1 app, thousands come to a port of entry. Same illegal alien population, but they created these programs they call legal pathways, which aren't legal, just to break illegal aliens up in 3 buckets. So they can say, well, the Border Patrol's catching less. They're catching less because you're moving thousands through these other two programs. So securing the border, and also under the deportation operation, right out of the gate, we're going to concentrate and prioritize public safety threats and national security threats. So we want to arrest as many gang members and public safety threats that the Biden administration released in this country, as many as we can, especially criminal alien gangs like Tren de Agua and MS-13. And then finally, we got to start working on these children. And again, it's the most difficult task, but we're going to start day one. Again, working with private organizations, work with every American. We want to deputize every American in this country to help us find these kids. So if we find one child, that's a success. We saved a life. But I'm hoping to find as many as possible. So that's the goal we want. And then we're not going to stop. We got 4 years to do this. We're going to remove every public safety threat, every national security threat, every gang member, every fugitive that had due process at great taxpayer expense were ordered removed by a federal judge but failed to leave. We got over 1.7 million of them. We got 750,000 convicted criminal illegal aliens. We got a big task ahead of us, but the men and women of ICE, they're patriots. We're going to get this done.
And you're calling for the private sector and we the people to help out as well, Tom, and giving us direction and granularity, which is so helpful. And you're telling the country right now, Tom Homan, that long before Joe Biden was showing depravity towards human life, a lack of common sense and compassion by commuting these death row sentences to life without parole, he was looking the other way and allowing these kids to be harmed and to come here and to go missing, 340,000 of them. Tom Homan, thank you so much. God bless you and your family. Merry Christmas.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.